Nobody wins when the family feels.
I'm cracking your skull, better stay with the pole when I'm seeing you on fat. Ayy, hop with the whip too deep with the gas. That's 3 niggas strapped, J chopper and okay, you a fan of what? You be playing my songs, hey bobbing this shit, is you a fan of what? I thought I was a op, but you step dick, nigga, is you a fan of what? Do I gotta keep this niggas that kid, was you mad or what? Now they dead.
News now at 10, a deadly triple shooting investigation in Portsmouth. It happened around 7 tonight on Portsmouth Boulevard and Highland Avenue near the Sportsplex.
And Cedric Davis Jr., both 18 years old, are behind bars after a police shooting at this cemetery in Riverside Memorial Park in Norfolk. At the time of the arrest, Cedric Davis Jr. already faced multiple charges in Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach.
Charges are pending against a second underage suspect in the shooting death of 18-year-old Demarion Durrell. He was killed June 9th on King Charles Court. Investigators say the shooting happened around 8:30 yesterday morning on 7th Street at the Save and Save store. A 10-year-old boy has a life-threatening injury. If you recognize the person of interest or if you have information about this case, call the crime line or use the P3 Tips app.
Portsmouth, 15 people shot within just 1 week in that city. The latest we brought you right here yesterday at noon is breaking news. The quadruple shooting on Maple Avenue where 3 people were killed, another person still in the hospital. And this afternoon, people who live there are looking for answers.
Arrested 2 men in connection to the killing of a teenager last year. Officers tell us they've charged 19-year-old Cedric Davis Jr. and 20-year-old DeJuan Jones Jr. with first-degree murder. Police say they shot and killed a 17-year-old boy on Portsmouth Boulevard near the Portsmouth Sportsplex in February of last year. 2 others were hurt in that shooting. Davis and Jones were in the Portsmouth City Jail without bond.
This young man threw his life away at 17 years old. Family, we talking about a Virginia rapper here. A young man who was connected to 5 bodies. An officer getting shot at a cemetery, his homie getting shot in the head, and a number of other victims who were seriously injured along the way. Not to mention, all this happened in the span of 5 months. And in this video, I have the privilege to break down each situation to you guys in order. Discuss who involved, or at least this rapper, his association, and what he claimed as a neighborhood, not to mention him recently getting sentenced. So before we break this one down, remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. In the gritty neighborhood of 4th Street, Southside Gardens, a young and talented rapper named Cedric Rashid Davis Jr., also known as ller. You would think ller would dream of escaping the cycle of violence and poverty that plagued this community, but fate seemed determined to keep him entangled in his grip. Ler's journey took a dark turn when he became associated with the notorious gang. The streets whisper his name as one of the armed and dangerous members, a label that will haunt him throughout his life. Portsmouth, Virginia Police Chief Ronaldo Prince, frustrated by the repeated offenses committed by ller and his fellow alleged gang members, tirelessly pursued justice.
For you, asking Portsmouth for your support. This is my city. This is my city. I will not bow down. I will not stop. We will use everything, every resource that we have to find the offenders that are committing these crimes, but we still need your help. This is a us thing. It's not a police thing. It's not a city manager thing. If anybody's telling you that, they're telling you the wrong thing. You need to be involved. Engage. When you engage, we all win. We have a safe community.
Ller was a rapper. He managed to get hundreds of thousands of views in total and counting on YouTube. One track was called Shh, released last year, over 69,000 views and counting. He displayed his neighborhood at the very beginning of the video, also talking about some of his darkest moments and shootouts, saying shh as the details.
Some bitches can't, we can shit on shh, no, we don't tell us so. Little boy ass fan out, ain't no ass, I bought them for his pause.
But all while dropping music videos in 2022, according to authorities, ller will be dropping bodies in the same year. The first one happened on the first day of February of 2022. Police said this incident happened around 7:15 p.m. near the 1800 block of Portsmouth Boulevard. Where officers arrived on the scene, they found 2 male juveniles suffering from gunshot wounds, another person suffering from another nearby the facility. One person ended up losing their life, may they rest in peace. The other 2 made it.
More breaking news now at 10, a deadly triple shooting investigation in Portsmouth. It happened around 7 tonight on Portsmouth Boulevard Boulevard and Highland Avenue near the Sportsplex. Now, 10 on your side got this video of the scene. You could see it was very active. Police say 3 men were shot. 1 of them died. The other 2 have serious injuries and are recovering at the hospital. If you know anything or you saw anything tonight involving this shooting, call the crime line. You can remain anonymous or use your P3 Tips app. Stay with us online and on air for any new information.
Now, how he got connected to the first crime will be later revealed in the video. But mind you, at 17 years old, with no criminal record at the time, authorities have no DNA of you, especially fingerprints. Now apparently he had another shooting he was allegedly involved in that happened at Virginia Beach. Now that would make body number 2, but he wasn't identified because he was under the age of 18, at least to the public. And the only reason he was caught for that because of his connection for the next shooting where his friend was shot in the head after a shootout at a mini market. Now this incident happened broad daylight early in the morning. Police said it happened outside a Save and Save supermarket at the 7th Street and Madison Street. The call came in at around 8:34 a.m. The 16-year-old victim who was struck in the head was taken to the hospital for life-threatening injuries. He later survived, thank God, but he was struck after sitting in the passenger seat of a stolen Nissan. According to the police, ller was the driver, and the picture they released to the public was the enemy of ller.
New information in a Portsmouth shooting investigation. Detectives are now searching for a person of interest and a vehicle of interest in the shooting that left a teenager hurt. If you recognize this man, police want to hear from you. The vehicle of interest is described as an older 4-door Honda with dark tinted windows. Investigators say the shooting happened around 8:30 yesterday morning on 7th Street at the Save and Save store. A 10-year-old boy has a life-threatening injury. If you recognize the person of interest or if you have information about this case, call the crime line or use the P3 Tips app.
So you can tell by the news clip, we in April of 2022. 2 people lost their life. This is the 3rd shooting that's public. And ller still haven't been arrested. But he'll soon be a wanted man for this incident. 2 weeks after his homie getting shot in the head, he dropped a video. It was a live performance in the middle of his hood, Southside Gardens. The track was called On My Block For Real, with over 90,000 views and counting.
Be like, say you cracking the photo, no cracking your skull. Better stay with the pole when I'm seeing you on fat. Hey, hop of the whip too deep with the gas. That's 3 niggas trapped.
So as you can see, the crimes wasn't fazing him, at least when it came to performing his music. But the police in Portsmouth, Virginia, will issue a public service announcement and ask the public for their help after a mass shooting in the Portsmouth community. And by now, you don't even have to guess who authorities say was allegedly involved in the shootout. And just like the last incident, this incident happened broad daylight early in the morning. It was a Tuesday morning, June 10th, 2022, Portsmouth, Virginia police had identified the victims of a quadruple shooting. The shooting happened in the 1500 block of Maple Avenue just after 9:30 a.m. Officers arrived to find a man and 2 women life stolen from gunshot wounds. The victims was identified as 30-year-old Giorgio Lee, 37-year-old Alicia Mears, and 34-year-old Ashley Merricks. May they rest in peace and love and condolences to their family. Also, a 66-year-old man was also taken to the hospital in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. On Friday afternoon, police said this man, Samuel Jones, succumbed to his injuries. Witnesses told police a possible 2011 black GMC with Virginia tags was last seen in the area, with that being the 15th shooting in Portsmouth, Virginia, and the police had enough.
Portsmouth, 15 people shot within just 1 week in that city. The latest we brought you right here yesterday at noon is breaking news. The quadruple shooting on Maple Avenue where 3 people were killed, another person still in the hospital, and this afternoon people who live there are looking for answers. Let's bring in News 3 reporter Penny Commit on top of the story. Live for us this afternoon. We're breaking some new information. Penny?
Yeah, Blaine, that's right. I've been on this story all morning, and just about 2 minutes ago, we received the names of the victims in that shooting. Now, as I said, this just came in, so I'm going to look at my notes to make sure I don't mess them up. The first one, 30-year-old Giorgio Lee. The second, 37-year-old Sheila Deanna Mears. And then the last, 34-year-old Ashley Merricks. Now, their next of kin has been notified. We don't have the name of the 4th victim, but we're told that it's a 66-year-old man. Now, here's the thing. We don't know who caused these shootings. The Portsmouth Police Department still not having any information on who the shooter was. The suspect is still out there, and they say that can't change without the community's help.
Before you asking Portsmouth for your support. This is my city. This is my city. I will not bow down. I will not stop. We will use everything, every resource that we have to find the offenders that are committing these crimes, but we still need your help. This is a us thing. It's not a police thing. It's not a city manager thing. If anybody's telling you that, they're telling you the wrong thing. You need to be involved, engage. When you engage, we all win. We have a safe community.
Portsmouth Police Chief Prince just pleading with the community to come forward, saying that, hey, the officers can only do so much. They need the leads from the community, and especially in this case, with the nation's latest mass shooting that happened on Maple Street. 3 people dead, another person fighting for their life. Again, a 66-year-old male. We're told that he is still in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. There are still many questions surrounding this triple homicide, and it's just the latest of a string of shootings in Portsmouth. So starting tonight on News 3 at 4, we have team coverage as we work to find out more answers and solutions. We're live in...
Now at this point, Portsmouth Police Department issued wanted posters for Cedric Davis Jr., aka ller. He was connected to too many crimes, and they wanted him bad. And that's 5 bodies in a span of 5 months. But they would catch up to him, but not with one of the authorities getting shot in the process. Mind you, ller is still just 17 years old at this point, but with being such a threat to the community, they still released his public name and his pictures. On the following month, the last week, July 22nd, 2022, ller would see himself in a shootout with police at a cemetery in Norfolk, Virginia, having him being arrested that day. Thankfully, the officers
Neighbors
survived. Now remember, ller was already wanted in connection to those other incidents. But it wasn't until he was apprehended and they got his fingerprints till he was connected to all the M1s.
To new information about an afternoon shooting involving Portsmouth police in the Compostela area of Norfolk. Officials say an 18-year-old was sent to the hospital and is expected to survive. But according to Portsmouth investigators, he and another teen face a list of charges.
The scene unfolded in the area of Riverside Memorial Park Cemetery. Angelique Arentock spoke with neighbors who described what they saw and heard.
Law enforcement centered their investigation on this silver BMW in the middle of Riverside Memorial Park. The sedan is left with multiple bullet holes on the windshield. Onlookers like Bernard Pee Wee Thompson watched crime tapes around the Compostela area cemetery.
I was wondering what was going on, and I'm always alarmed that if it's any type of tragedy, anybody get hurt, we certainly do wish their family well and hope and trust that they're okay.
Neighbors across the street were shocked at the police presence. Another person told us off camera he was surprised to see Portsmouth officers at the Norfolk Cemetery. He recounts the sound of several gunshots around noon.
After that, it was just cars just coming in.
State detectives are now looking into the shooting that involved at least one Portsmouth officer.
I'm not sure what led to that.
Police say no officers are hurt, but according to a news release, Portsmouth police tried to arrest who they call a violent offender in the area of the cemetery. A spokeswoman identifies the wanted suspect for contempt of court as Malachi Elliott. She says the 18-year-old should survive after getting shot. His charges are related to car theft, a firearm, and attempted murder of a law enforcement officer. Locals like Thompson say they pray and wish for peace.
We're in disarray right now. Things are just getting out of whack.
In Norfolk, Angelique Arentock, 13 News Now.
Investigators have not said how Portsmouth police ended up in the middle of the Norfolk Cemetery. Police also arrested 18-year-old Cedric Davis Jr. during this incident. He had warrants out from Portsmouth, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach.
Cedric Jr., aka ller, was arrested ever since. And after getting his fingerprints, as we mentioned, they would connect him to the first shooting that left the life of a teenager deceased back in February. And as of 2 months ago, before recently getting sentenced 2 days ago, which we'll later discuss, he was facing life in prison.
Police arrested 2 men in connection to the killing of a teenager last year. Officers tell us they've charged 19-year-old Cedric Davis Jr. and 20-year-old DeJuan Jones Jr. with first-degree murder. Police say they shot and killed a 17-year-old boy on Portsmouth Boulevard near the Portsmouth Sportsplex in February of last year. 2 others were hurt in that shooting. Davis and Jones were in the Portsmouth City Jail without bond. Officers are still looking for more people who may be connected to all of this. If you know anything that can help, Call the crime line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. You do not have to give your name.
Now this just for the February shooting alone. But the Portsmouth rapper ller has been charged with first degree and one of the unnamed 17-year-old back in February of 2022 and 2 counts of aggravated miscellaneous wounding. 17 years for just that incident alone. Ironically, was the same age as the victim in that case. If you look up his name in Portsmouth public records, he have over 30 felony charges that's pending. So he not even halfway through this process. This rapper was quote-unquote chasing shadows. It's like a gripping tale of a young rapper struggling for survival, redemption. He failed to escape the clutches of his troubled past. It paints a vivid picture of the challenges faced by individuals who caught in a web of violence and crime. Nonetheless, you don't win. This young rapper, at just 17 years old, in the span of 5 months, falls under the category of a serial. Fam, once again, rest in peace to the victims. Love and condolences to their families. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And today, I'll catch you guys on the next one.